Yo, what's the word, boys? Welcome back. Belal Muhammad and new. You heard that right. I am not lying. I am not bullshitting. Belal, we know the name, Muhammad, is the new UFC Welterweight Champion of the World. Like, subscribe, follow me on all socials. Link will be in the description down below. We need to talk about UFC 304. This video will be dedicated to the main event. My next video will be dedicated to Tom Aspinall. And the next video will be dedicated to the main event. I'm going to be up for a fucking while, but here we are. I'm pumped, boys. I'm pumped. Belal Muhammad just went out there and absolutely dominated Leon Edwards for 5 straight rounds, pretty much. In one of... Oh, my phone's going off. Fuck that. Gotta put it on silent. Big video. And I'm freeballing it. No notes, because fuck it. Fuck it. Belal went out there and put on one of the greatest UFC title performances I've ever seen. And going into this fight, I doubted Belal Muhammad. I wasn't a hater. I respect Belal Muhammad. I respect every guy that goes into the cage. But I didn't think his skills would be enough for Leon Edwards, who was proving to be a dominant champion in the welterweight division, going for his 3rd title defense. And I looked at this fight, and I was like, okay, Leon has had training camps for Khamzat Chimaev on multiple occasions, Kamaru Usman on multiple occasions, and most recently, Colby Covington. So I was going into this fight wondering what Belal presents to Leon that he hasn't seen. What does Belal do differently than a Colby Covington, than a Kamaru Usman? And I was having a hard time figuring that out. I'm like, okay, he's a high-pressure fighter. Sure, he's a good wrestler. His striking is decent. Kamaru Usman, I thought, better wrestler, better striker, similar gas tank. Colby Covington, similar gas tank, similar in terms of their grappling and wrestling. But boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. I personally had the fight 3-2 to Belal Muhammad, but it wasn't that close. It wasn't that close at all. Belal was winning that. Oh my God, this fucking light is so bright it hurts my eyes. I'm sorry. The 5th round was going to go to Belal, but with like 30 seconds left, Leon reversed the position and he was landing mean elbows. He might have broke the nose of Belal Muhammad, but he definitely opened a cut. Belal was bleeding like crazy, so due to the damaged base scoring, I gave Leon Edwards the 5th round. I gave him that 3rd round as well because he had the control time. But overall, it wasn't that close. I believe Belal had 9 or 10 takedowns in that fight, absolutely dominating him on the ground, and Belal went out there and did what he said he was going to do. For years at this point, he said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to dominate Leon Edwards. I'm going to dominate Leon. I'm going to break Leon. England's going to lose once again, which they did. And he backed it all up. And if you hate on Belal Muhammad, for this performance, you're not an MMA fan. You could be a fight fan. You're not an MMA fan. Because that was one of the greatest, and I mean greatest title performances I have ever seen. People are going to hate on Belal because it's Belal, but I know the name, and now everybody else does. That was literally Habib-esque, man. That was Habib-esque with the grappling. And the thing that was so perfect for Belal in this fight was the entire 25 minutes. He was either in boxing range, grappling and clinch range, or wrestling range. No time in this fight was it in kickboxing range, in the middle of the octagon. You could look in the beginning of each round, when the rounds were just starting, when both guys are walking towards each other. Belal was like running towards Leon, gave him absolutely no space. It was just incredible. Unlike Colby, unlike Kamaru, he wasn't willing to trade with Leon on the feet. He knows there's an advantage on the ground. Use your advantage. Use your advantage. That's what guys in MMA don't do enough. They don't use their advantage. They're too comfortable doing stuff that they shouldn't. And Belal was in his face, hands up the entire time, in boxing range. He was getting takedowns. He was dumping Leon on his fucking ass for 5 rounds, man. I'm happy for Belal. If anybody can go out there and win a UFC title, and I'm happy for them, it's Belal Muhammad. That seems like a good dude, and he fucking deserves it. Everybody was hating on Belal. Oh, he shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here. He's a boring fighter. No personality. Dana White was even hating on him. 10-fight unbeaten streak. This is why MMA is so great. This is why we need the best of the best fighting every single time in title fights. None of this Sean O'Malley, Chito Vera bullshit. None of this Leon Edwards, Colby Covington bullshit. This is why MMA is so great. The best of the best, they fight, and sometimes we get crazy upsets. Sometimes we get crazy, crazy moments. And I also want to highlight Belal's boxing in this fight. Belal's coach said he looked like Canelo. He said he had Canelo-level boxing. The dude went out there and outboxed Leon Edwards. He outstruck Leon Edwards. I'm going to have to rewatch the fight, but it literally seemed like Leon maybe landed 2 or 3 clean strikes on the feet. The uppercut, I think maybe he had a left hand, but Belal was always in his face in that boxing range, super safe on the feet. None of the head kicks landed. Belal even landed a head kick of his own in boxing range, was fucking piecing him up with the jab, landing hooks around the guard, landing the 2. Incredible. I'm stunned. I'm genuinely stunned, and I couldn't be happier for Belal Muhammad because I'm an MMA fan. I'm happy for Belal. I'm fucking pumped. Incredible. Interested to see who he fights next. Interested to see, who Leon fights next. In terms of Leon, piss poor. He was blaming, the fucking time in the post-fight press comp or the post-fight interview or whatever. He was saying, I didn't feel right all week. Well, Belal felt great. Belal was doing something right. You didn't. No excuses. No excuses for Leon. He looked poor. Very reactionary on the feet. It was counter-striking the entire time pretty much. He let Belal walk him down. He let Belal throw the 1-2. So very poor from Leon. Where does Leon go from here? Excuse me. Who does Leon fight from here? Do you give him an Ian Machado Gary? Do you give him a Jack Della Maddalena? I feel like that's a really good fight. I don't know how long JDM's going to be out because he did have that gruesome injury. Maybe they give him a Shavkat. They're not going to run it back with Usman. And I'm telling you now, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get Belal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like the UFC would like to have Kamaru Usman as a champion. Do they give Shavkat his time? My eyes are fucking hurting. My bad, boys. It's late. Do they give Shavkat the title fight after beating Wonderboy? I'm not too sure. Guys, I'm telling you now. Do not be surprised if we get Belal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman in the near future. As for Leon, maybe a Shavkat, maybe a JDM, maybe an Ian Machado Gary. I feel like those 3 fights make a lot of sense, but incredible, man. Absolutely world class from Belal. If you guys are hating on Belal, I know I said it earlier. If you guys are hating on Belal, you're not an MMA fan. I just love it for Belal because the story is so great. The dude is widely hated throughout the UFC. Nobody wanted to give him a title shot. Absolutely nobody. Dana White, Hunter Campbell, every UFC fan did not want him fighting for the title. He goes out there, 10-fight unbeaten streak, beats the likes of Vicente Luque, Gilbert Burns, Damian Maia, etc., deserves his title shot. Colby Covington gets it before him. Okay, goes out there, beats Gilbert Burns, gets his undeniable title shot, and just grabs it by the fucking balls, dude. Yeah, I'll say it. He grabbed that fucking title by the balls, and he stole it from Leon. That was absolutely dominant. I was not expecting that. I thought Leon's side-to-side movement, his grappling defense, his defensive wrestling would be good enough for Belal. And I know Belal's maybe on, some orange juice, but regardless, man, he was fucking ragdolling him, picking him up, slamming it on his fucking head. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Belal Muhammad is the UFC welterweight champion of the world. We're in one of those weird UFC arcs where we have unexpected champions. Belal Muhammad, Sean Strickland, etc. And I'm happy for Belal. The dude absolutely deserves it. He went out there and did what he said he was going to do. And that's incredible. That's why the best of the best need to be fighting every single time. That's why John Jones versus Stipe Miocic cannot happen. This is the reason why, man. This is the reason why. So overall, Belal Muhammad, UFC welterweight champion of the world, dominated Leon Edwards for 5 rounds. I had it 3-2, a lot more dominant than it sounds, though. Belal with one of the most dominant and impressive UFC title fights I've ever seen. Leon Edwards makes excuses in the post-fight speech, unfortunately. Doesn't look good out there, but it was Belal Muhammad's night, and he went out there and he put on a show. Let me know what you guys think of the UFC 304 main event. Drop any other thoughts you guys have for the card down below. I will be making my Tom Aspinall video shortly. Best heavyweight on the fucking planet. He beats every heavyweight, and I mean every heavyweight, in the first round. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, follow all my socials. Link will be in the description. Peace out.